Hi, my name is Layla, and this is the story of how my loyal golden retriever, Max, uncovered a truth I wasn't prepared to face, a truth that changed the entire course of my life in one sleepless night. Let me take you back just a few months ago, when everything seemed perfect, or at least I thought it was. I was 34, married for 6 years to a man I believed was my best friend, Nathan. We met during a hiking trip in Arizona, bonded over our love for nature, photography, and dogs. We married 2 years later, and a year into the marriage we adopted Max, a soft-hearted, energetic golden retriever who instantly became the heart of our home. Max wasn't just a dog. He was family, the kind of pet that sensed moods better than most people. If I cried, Max would be by my side. If Nathan and I argued, which in recent years had become more frequent, Max would lie between us like he could absorb the tension, but for a long time, I ignored the red flags. I thought the distance between Nathan and me was just life being hard. We both worked long hours. I was an event planner. He was a software engineer who had recently started working remotely, and that's where it started. It was late November. Around 2:17 a.m. I remember the time exactly because I glanced at my phone after. Max's sudden barking jolted me awake. It wasn't a normal bark. It was sharp, short, alert. Something was off. Max never barked at night. I sat up in bed, the cold from the window brushing against my skin. Nathan wasn't beside me. I assumed he had gone to the kitchen or maybe stayed up gaming or working. But Max's bark wasn't letting up. He stood near the bedroom door, pawing at it, his ears perked like he was in defense mode. At first, I just tried to hush him. "Max, hey." "It's okay," I whispered, reaching to calm him, but he kept pawing. And then he growled. A deep, low, unfamiliar sound that sent a chill down my spine. That's when I got up and opened the door. Max bolted down the hallway. But instead of heading to the front door or kitchen, he turned toward the guest room, the one Nathan had recently converted into a home office. That room had been locked lately, and yet the door was now open. I followed Max, my heart thudding. The hallway was dark except for the glow coming from the office. The light was on, and I heard whispering. Soft, hushed voices. Max stood frozen in front of the door, looking at me, then back toward the room, like he was asking me to see for myself, and so I did. I pushed the door open fully, and what I saw, I still struggle to describe. Nathan, shirtless, sitting across from someone on the floor, a woman wrapped in one of my scarves, laughing, close, familiar in a way that made my stomach twist. My breath caught. They both turned toward me. The woman gasped and pulled the scarf tighter around her. Nathan stood up, stammering something that sounded like, "It's not what it looks like." But it was. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just turned to Max and whispered, "Good boy." The hours after that moment felt like living inside a dream I couldn't wake from. Nathan chased after me, trying to explain. He said it was a coworker, that they had been working late, that it just happened, and it didn't mean anything. I remember sitting on the kitchen floor, Max beside me, his head in my lap, while I just stared into nothing. This wasn't the first sign. It was just the first proof. Max, sweet, loyal Max, had sensed what I didn't, or maybe what I refused to admit. Nathan slept on the couch that night after I told him to leave me alone. I couldn't even look at him. Every time I tried, my throat closed up. I stayed in the bedroom with Max, curled up beside him like I used to as a kid when nightmares woke me up. Except this nightmare was real. The next morning I asked Nathan to leave the house, not forever. I wasn't sure what I wanted yet, but I knew I couldn't breathe with him under the same roof. He packed a bag. No drama, no more excuses. The house was quiet again, except now it felt empty, cold, even with Max by my side. For days I wandered around like a ghost in my own home. I found myself reading old texts between Nathan and me. The sweet messages, the plans we made, the photos of us holding Max the day we brought him home. How do you reconcile the person someone was with who they turned out to be? Max never left my side. He followed me from room to room, curled up at my feet when I cried, barked when someone rang the doorbell like he was protecting me from more pain. I started journaling again. It helped. Writing down the pain made it feel less tangled inside me. I wrote about how Max had barked, how he had known something was wrong, how he had protected me when I was too blind to see. Weeks passed. Nathan texted often, apologies, pleas, confessions. He admitted they'd been seeing each other for 2 months, that he didn't know why, that he still loved me, that it was a mistake. I didn't respond, and then one day I packed a weekend bag, loaded Max into the car, and drove out to my aunt's cabin by the lake. I needed space, and silence, and water. We spent 3 days there. I walked Max along the shoreline, let him chase ducks, sat on the dock wrapped in a blanket while he lay beside me, head on my thigh. The grief came in waves, but healing began there too. It was on the 3rd night at the cabin that I had a dream. I was in the kitchen, cooking breakfast, and Nathan came in. He smiled like nothing had happened. And in the dream, I smiled too. Everything was normal until Max walked in and started barking, louder, louder, until it drowned everything else out. I woke up in tears. Max was at the edge of the bed watching me. His tail wagged once, slowly, like he was saying, "It's okay now. You're safe." That dream was a turning point. When I got back home, I filed for divorce. I donated the scarf she wore. I deleted our wedding playlist, and I bought Max a new bed, a new toy, and cooked him chicken that night, just because. He wagged his tail like he always did. Simple, loyal, true. People ask me sometimes if I'd ever forgive Nathan. I don't know the answer to that. Maybe someday. But I do know this. The person who saved me that night, who woke me from the lie I had convinced myself to live in, walked on 4 legs and never said a word. Max taught me that love doesn't come with words, it comes with instinct, presence, loyalty, and that sometimes the loudest truths come in the quietest barks. Looking back now, I realize how much I ignored. The late nights, the emotional distance, the shift in our conversations. I clung to comfort, to the idea of who we were. But Max? He saw the truth. He showed me the door when I was too scared to open it. I owe him everything. Today, it's just me and Max. I moved to a new house, closer to the edge of the city. We take long walks. I work freelance now, and Max has a sunny spot on the balcony he loves to nap in. I'm healing, slowly. Some days are harder than others, but every night, when Max curls up at my feet, I remember that moment, that single sharp bark in the middle of the night, and I whisper, "Thank you." Because sometimes the ones who save us aren't people at all. Sometimes they're just the ones who stay.